They're never going to let you in the club, okay? And you like the movie Django, you are the character of Samuel L. Jackson. I don't know the exact terminology, but not Uncle Tom, but Uncle Tommy, or you are a complete sellout.
First of all, it sounded like that was a non-black person telling me that. So as a Democrat, that sounds pretty racial and pretty divisive. Next, it's very interesting that I, again, would be called names or be compared to fictional characters because of who I choose to support. Again, these people who are calling and making these derogatory statements about me, who I choose to support, are denying the fact that, again, who are you to tell me that my personal experience is invalid?
Sit down and get in your place, Negro.
Right.
No questions. Right. Don't ask me any questions. Don't expect any answers. You just do what you're going to do and show up at the polls or mail, or actually, you don't have to do that now. I'll come by your house and get your mail-in ballot. All you got to do is sign it. I'll put in who you're going to vote for. That's what they want.
That's right.
I think that that's something that a lot of Democrats need to look within, because how have you tried? Kamala Harris is in office right now and has not tried to do anything about the border, has not tried to not tax people on tips, and has not tried to do anything about our failing education system. So everything that she's promising she can do for you on day one, she could do right now, but she's not trying to. So that's something to, for some Dems to take home. So are you telling me that with all the black wealth that exists here in Atlanta, with all the black millionaires that live here in Atlanta, why in the world do 92% of APS students are illiterate? Make it make sense. And we have Democratic mayors, we have Democratic city council members, we have Democratic commissioners, and for whatever reason, 92% of the kids here cannot read. That statistic did not exist in Nevada. So again, I don't know if it was the fact that I got lucky. I can't say that, oh my God, it's the teachers that suck out here. I would never demean our educators here in Atlanta. But what we can acknowledge is the numbers, sir. And so while you want to call me not smart, please tell me what your side has done to fix the illiteracy rate that we see in our black children.
That's right. Don't question. And we'll cut your foot off if you think you're going to run too far off this plantation, just like we did Kunta Kinte. Yeah. That's basically where they still are.
Right. Yeah. And they don't want you religious. They don't want you reading your Bible. They don't want you praying to some God. You better pray to me, government massa, every month or every year, or I tax you to the end of time. That's what they want us.
Government is the only thing we all belong to. That's what they said at the Democratic convention a few years ago. Government is the only thing we all belong to.
Absolutely nothing. And in fact, not only have they not done anything to address the illiteracy issue, but then they're further confusing your kids by telling them that men can give birth, by telling them that there's 53 genders, and that by telling them that your love for your best friend must mean that you are gay, you are a pansexual, asexual. Kids under the age of anything high school should not be thinking anything sexual, period. Sexual should not even be in their vocabulary. So for you to say that I'm not smart because I'm willing to call out all of the degeneracy that exists within our current education system only points to your lack of intelligence and your lack of initiative to actually do something in regards to saving our children and saving our school.
All right. She didn't hold anything back, and she read him up one side and down the other.
I loved it. Number one. Number two, this is what, we've been saying. I've certainly been saying that this is what Republicans need to do. We don't have to, cater or, cower from the racial or the epithets that they call us. No, bring the receipts, as they say. Bring the facts. Beat them, if you will, at the issues on which they put forth, because 99.999% of the issues that they claim to support and they want to pour more money in, they haven't worked. And who's getting the worst end of the stick? Most of the time, it's Black people, Black children, because we, as collectively, if you will, are still at the lower end of every social, economic indicator, even some psychological, mental indicators. We're still at the lower end. Nothing they have put forth works. It doesn't work, certainly in our benefit. What only works is taking more money, dumbing down the education system, putting our children out in criminal infested areas with this school to prison pipeline. All of these things do not work. Not to mention sexualizing our children from elementary school on up. This does not work. This is all we need to do. Bring the facts.
With regard to education, I agree 1,000%, because we're not even ranked anymore, the United States, that is, in the top 20 internationally. It's funny. There's an interesting contrast going on right now, miles above our head. The Chinese, who are not teaching drag queen story hour or subjective biology, they're building their own space station right now. Okay, it's coming along swimmingly. Meanwhile, Boeing and NASA have astronauts stranded in outer space, probably can't bring them back until 2025. I think that is a glaring indictment of our government school system. The other thing is the young lady is emblematic, and the heat that she takes is emblematic of how the left has never gotten their bigotry out of their DNA. Okay, the same exact attitude they had when they went to war to keep slaves, black slaves, they still have that DNA. And so they do not like forthright, intellectual black people, but they love Bakari Sellers. They love, what's the bald guy over at CNN? And I call CNN the crying
Vance.
Van Jones. Van Jones and Bakari Sellers, they're always crying. I call CNN crying Negro news because that's all that they do. They emote. Okay. That's the subservient. They got, what's the Billy Porter? There's a picture of Billy Porter kissing Biden's hands. Okay. Like he just got whipped within an inch of his life, and massa, don't do it no more type stuff. It's just, this is the type of black people they prefer. When you stand up and say, hey, listen, tell me some issues that would maybe make me think about voting your way. Oh, they can't do it. Kamala Harris still does not have one agenda item on her website.
I mean, to respond to that video of that lady, she's amazing. And what's amazing about humans and human spirit is that even in difficult situations, difficult times, amazing people show up. And she is one of them. And there are many like her. So that's something, listening to her, it gives me hope for this country. And that hopefully more and more people will become vocal, will listen to each other, be supportive, and really, that's what this country is holding on, as these types of people.
Yeah. Well, wait a minute, KJ. I'm sorry. One thing we need to mention. Now, she was talking about the stats of the education system in Atlanta. Let's make a note that every major city across this country where the Democratic Party is in control, leftist, you can get that same trend. Baltimore, Los Angeles, Chicago, Detroit, everywhere, Philadelphia, Atlanta, New York City, you will get the same basic trend. Talk about macroeconomics, big trends. You'll get the same patterns across the country.
Absolutely. I mean, literally where the Democrats are right now in Chicago, they have a dismal number of school kids who are illiterate. 25%. 25% of Chicago school kids read at grade level. The rest of them are below. Right now, Chicago has 617 homicides for the year 2023. They're shrinking. The city is shrinking. They are negative 8,208 residents as of 2023. And the total budget for Chicago this year is $16.6 billion. So you know how they always say we don't have enough money. $16.6 billion is their budget. But they have to keep it like that. Their primary group of people that vote Democrat are Black, and they want to keep Black people as dumb as possible. They don't want us reading. They don't want us looking at different information to educate ourselves on economics, on reading and writing, on different things. They don't want us learning this, because if we did, we would realize that what they're saying is incorrect.
We're not, Americans are and have not been for a long time taught to critically think. Americans are comfortable with watching a box, and there's a person that comes on in the box and tells you what to think. This has been the trend for decades, okay? And unfortunately, I don't see any way out of that unless people start to understand what's going on and start to just take their kids out of the school system and educate them using the resources and technologies that we have today. A lot of people, are especially Blacks say, oh, well, so-and-so died for us to have the right to vote. A lot of Black people died for you to have the right to read too. And what's the last book you read, outside of high school? So we're not really focusing on economic or intellectual pursuits. And that way we become more susceptible to whatever the programming and suggestion is from those on high that want to set the agenda. And so you can get an abortion and vasectomy bank set up at the DNC. And, it's all good. People don't question it.
Nope.
Yeah, it's sad. They're too focused on the symbolism of everything, talking about, the first female president, the first Black president, and not concerned about these people are against school choice. These people, we've had Black on Black people in leadership in city across the country, and just what we mentioned, they're not doing a good job. So it's not about race. It's not about the symbolism. It's about your children and whether or not you believe that they deserve a chance